If you were to be picky on, like, if you could pick the papers for a horse, like not a dream horse, but a horse that you wanted, what kind of papers would you want? What would you want on the papers, I should say?
I don't know. Like I say, I don't mind papers in the, today there's 2 studs. Like, I think Shining Spark is the top one, and he died last week. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did.
And now they're like the Shining Spark coats and
yeah, now they're
can't get them anymore.
No.
We're good. Guys, welcome to the BioMane Scoop. Today is episode 2. We've got a featured guest, not from the States. We're excited to introduce him. Remember that we are on all social media platforms. If you want better sound and audio, I guess that's the same thing, sound and audio. If you want better audio and video, go to YouTube or join the Facebook Live. We're doing giveaways throughout the whole show. Every 15 to 20 minutes, we'll do a giveaway. Hashtag BioMane comment. We're going to pick those winners from the comments. Use hashtag BioMane Live Show. And again, every 15, 20 minutes, we'll do a giveaway. We're going to be giving away all BioMane products that we've got. Again, I'm co-host Cole Clement. We got Lad Howell and our featured guest, Joao Miranda. Joao, where are you from?
From Brazil.
Where?
Presidente Prudente, São Paulo.
What?
No, I understood it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did.
Say it one more time.
Presidente Prudente, São Paulo.
Okay, hope you guys got that.
Hope you got it. Let's talk about what brought you to... How long have you been in the States?
2.5 years.
What brought you here?
I could say rodeo.
I've known...
Horses.
Known Joao for almost the whole time you've been here.
Yeah.
We work together, so I probably know most of the answers to the questions I'm going to ask, but we're going to ask you a lot of the questions
for sure.
For your viewers. So you say rodeo brought you here.
Yeah.
What aspect of rodeo? Come pro rodeo, amateur rodeo? What kind of rodeo?
I came to get like everybody I think has a dream, and I want to be in the NFR someday. So I came to try to make the NFR someday. But at first I knew I had to learn English.
Yeah. So you came here not speaking English?
Nothing.
2 years ago, didn't speak English?
Mm-mm.
2.5 years, I guess.
I went to school up in Ephraim, Snow College, and now...
On a scholarship, right?
Yeah,
on a rodeo scholarship?
Yeah. And I rodeo for them for the first 2 years. Did the last semester. I don't know if I'm going to do next semester or not. But, yep.
You like college rodeo?
Yep.
You and your partner was Casey
Thomas.
You guys kind of kicked butt. You made the college finals last year.
Yeah. Didn't have a pretty good finals, but...
Happens.
Did you win the region twice?
No. The first year, Kyson won.
Won the region?
Won the region. And then last year we won second.
Cool.
Me and Casey.
Cool.
Yeah.
College
on track
finals.
this year, doing good.
What's that?
They're on track this year, doing good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the time you're college rodeoing, you're still able to jackpot, pro rodeo,
Jackpot, go to all
amateurs
the rodeos.
and all that.
Last summer, me and Casey, we went to all the RMPRA rodeos in Utah. We did pretty good. So,
You won second this year in the RMs, right?
And it's second. And that was a pretty good year.
It was a good year.
Pretty good.
Talk about the difference in... What's the biggest difference in roping? We're going to kind of focus, that's what Joao does, is rope. I mean, he does a lot of things, but his forte is roping, specifically healing. I mean, he'll outhead us too, but it is what it is. But healing, and talk about kind of all aspects. What's the biggest difference? What are the similarities between, how it was jackpotting or rodeoing in Brazil and here?
I think the first thing I could talk is about cattle.
Yeah.
Here,
Oh yeah, you wrote Mules over there.
yeah, I think that's a big difference from Brazil to here. Here we have a lot of kind of cattle. Like you go to an open jackpot, you're gonna have tough steers, freshes usually.
Mm-hmm.
And in Brazil we have not as many cattle like we have here.
Like varieties of cattle.
Yeah, and so let's say from the open to the number 8.5 down there, they're gonna rope about the same cattle.
Similar type cattle.
Yeah, but they're gonna try to make harder in the barrier, or I don't know, try to do something different to be harder. You know,
It's not the cattle that makes it more difficult. They got to set it up.
Do they
different.
do muleys from the open all the way down?
Yes, sir.
Or is there some ropens that have horns?
we have talking about the AQHA. We have the association down there too. So we have 4 or 5 shows during the year, every year, and they are horn cattle.
Are they?
But
Most
nobody-
guys still
yeah,
probably rope necks.
Those ones?
But and they try to put some horn cattle in the. We have it's called ETR here. If you're gonna say English, is ETR.
Uh-huh.
It's just like shouldn't say PRCA, but it's the professional deal in Brazil, you know.
Uh-huh.
And they try to use some horn cattle in most of them, but most of the headers they don't. You rope neck every day. Why would you go to the jackpot and try rope horns?
Yeah.
True.
You know.
Ooh, I guess probably some viewers don't know what muleys
Oh, yeah, I
are.
guess.
So when we say muleys, that's just a cow with no horns. It's just a slick horn, and so they rope.
Slick-headed.
Yeah, slick-headed, and they just rope the necks. Horn cows, obviously, they have horns, and that's the majority we rope in the States.
And a neck catch. If you even cattle that have horns, if you catch it around the neck, it's still a legal head catch.
Yep.
You don't get docked. You don't get disqualified or anything like that for a slick neck. So makes no difference whether how the cow handles and stuff, it could make a difference. But as far as legality, there's no difference in roping a neck versus horns. You showed horses in Brazil.
Yes.
Kind of in the equivalent of the AQHA in the States. You showed horses over there.
Yeah. So in my first time showing horses I was 13.
Cool.
Yep. Yes.
And are there shows, do they have different levels? Kind
We
of like
have
limited, non-pro?
Yeah,
pro,
yeah. We have
open?
the same categories and same deal.
Cool.
I think we have more than here, because here they have the amateur one and they have the level 2 and 3, and the open is 2 and 3 as well. We probably have 8 or 9 categories there, you know. So it's just like we have 4. The amateur is there, like should say level 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the open level 1, 2, and 3.
Cool.
And in the events, is it just like here is team roping, calf roping?
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Barrel
Calf
racing's big
roping.
over there, right? Calf roping and barrel racing are both big over there, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you-
Barrel racing is really big there because of it's just a lot of money
Yeah.
running.
Is
Like-
it as big as the barrel racing is here, where they'll
Oh,
have
yeah.
hundreds of entries?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
it's huge, and then just so much money into it, like a lot.
I've come across some Instagram accounts that for barns and breeding programs that like strictly are
They
raising barrel
have
horses.
they have barrel racings there that last like 2 weeks,
Really?
every day.
all day.
all
Just
day.
because they got so many entries.
Yeah,
Wow.
Barrel horses costing.
a lot.
Yeah, I figured. I just didn't know if the
Mm-hmm.
the trend. Yeah.
We might ought to switch.
Yeah.
You flew. I want to talk about what you do here. You still show horses here.
Yes.
Earlier this year, you went out to Texas and hung out
Oklahoma
with Junior.
and
Well, I
Texas.
guess the show was in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Hung out with Junior and showed some of his, right?
yeah. I rode 3 of his.
Sweet. And did good?
Did pretty good. I can't complain.
Yeah.
And the level, I just roped in the level 2, and he did in level 3, and I ended up winning 4th in the senior on a really good mare that he sold to Brazil, and 3rd in the junior.
Cool. And that was a little roan mare, right?
The one I won 4th in the senior.
And that's the one that he sent to Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that. Like, how tough is that? I mean, you and I have kind of talked about it. I still don't understand it fully, but talk about the difficulty or the ease of shipping horses, selling horses, from Brazil to here to Brazil. Do you see more horses from Brazil coming here than you do horses here going to Brazil?
I think I see more horses going from here to there.
Do you?
Yeah, it's... Corey Solomon has a horse from Brazil.
Yeah.
The bay horse.
Tyson Durfee got one
Tyson
too, right?
Durf got one.
Yep.
And I have a couple friends in Texas. They brought horses, you know.
And Marcus probably gets...
I don't think he has done that, but I'm pretty sure he will sometime soon.
Yeah.
But I think it's easier to take a horse from here to there than bring a horse from Brazil
Is it?
to here. Yeah.
You were telling me, because we were talking about a mare that I've got that some guys in Brazil might like, but you made it sound like
first thing they look at it is the
the papers.
The papers. That's the first thing that is gonna matter to the guys, to the buyers in Brazil.
They got to be bred right.
Yep. Papers. We could talk about how good the horse is, because that's how I see. Like, I would go to Brazil and bring a pretty nice horse, not looking at his papers.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's gonna work for me here.
Yeah, but you're not looking to start a breeding
No.
program. You're
No.
looking for one that you can win on here, where over there they're looking for the same thing, but
Just
at the same time.
probably like Cody Solomon. He didn't buy his horse because of the horse paper.
Yeah, he just knew he could win on them.
You know, and it's a gelding.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. But you're telling me when we were talking about that mare of mine, it's maybe not necessarily a requirement, maybe it is, but they got to have show record, they got to have points.
What I know, the horse needs to have points. I'm not sure if it's 75 or 100 points.
AQHA points.
AQHA points. Or it needs to be a world champion.
In some discipline or division.
Yeah. So I know for sure if let's say in last year I went and showed Junior's gray mare, Halley. He won the world champ. He won heading and 1 second heeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know when your horse is a world champion, let's say you breed her and you get 10 coats out of her. All the 10 coats can go to Brazil.
Because they came out of world champion mare.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the deal.
Cool.
And she can go and stay there or come back, you know.
Yeah.
She kind of earned her spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Which kind of makes sense because even before I knew Joao, it was you'd see videos, and granted, guys are only posting good videos of their good horses and wanting them to look good. But like I swear, almost all the Instagram accounts that I follow from Brazil, the horses look rank.
Yep.
I mean, not only work rank, but they've got the look. Like they've got the composition, they've got the build, they've got the physique. Like they look rank, and it makes sense that majority of them are like that because they're only they have their own horses there that they're breeding in that, but like they're only, by the sound of it, they're only letting in those
Good things.
good
those
ones.
top tier horses.
Yep.
That's a great business plan.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of the.
Yeah.
I don't want to say middle because even the middle ones.
Yeah,
for
I
us
mean,
and
even
them, it's
especially
great.
now, like with the horse market, things are high. I mean, it's hard to find a cheap prospect.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think that's the greatest business plan ever. Like you pretty much take cream of the crop or nothing.
Yeah, because when I hear horse from Brazil, it's always like, oh man, they're
You
good.
already instantly
They're good.
think it's got to be a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, Corey brought one over from Brazil. Why would you bring one over from Brazil when there's so many here? Unless he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the kind. So
on those really good ones, are they flying those horses, the good ones, or are they shipping them?
They fly.
The good
them.
ones are
yeah.
Okay.
All of them actually. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
yeah, I think on a boat would be just the time on there and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it'd be tough
Yeah.
on them. You've dealt with shipping
Well, that's why I was asking, because
with cattle more.
yeah, on the so when I guess that's a whole different conversation on the cattle, but all.
So we're doing a giveaway every
can
15
handle
to
that
20 minutes. You
can handle
botched
that.
it. We didn't even talk about the guys in back. Sorry, we got Carson, Bryce, and Josh. Josh is on air horn duty. We're doing the air horn for every time it's time to do a giveaway.
I can handle that first one. That first one was great.
Scared the heck out of us when we were messing with the air horn. And the plan was, it scared Lad more than anybody. The plan was to aim it right at Lad. Don't tell him it's coming. Surprise him. Josh just went to let it off, and it didn't work very good.
It was upside down. That's my bad.
It was upside down. Okay, giveaway time. We're going to do a spin of the wheel. And our lucky winner, do we want to pick our winner before we
Yeah, let's do
spin it?
Let's do Ashley Robertson. She commented on Facebook.
Cool. Ashley, right?
Yep.
Let's see what we're getting, Ashley. She's getting the grooming gloves.
Grooming gloves.
Ashley, message us your info, shipping address, and we'll get that sent off to you. Talk about shipping. Because you
Okay.
lived in Russia. You were running
Yep.
a beef operation, shipping U.S. cattle to Russia. Talk about that a little bit, just to bring into perspective.
Okay, so when we're shipping, I was helping with an operation out of Montana. Daryl Stevenson Angus. We were shipping thousands of cattle over to Russia. Started in 2000, I believe, in 11, and we would put we call them commercial cattle. So those are the cows without papers. We would put all those
Like unregistered cattle.
unregistered cows. Okay. Those would go on a ship, and that would be anywhere from a 3-week trip, a little bit longer, depends on the ports. And obviously, we can see how big of a problem the ports are right now. But we'd ship those out. Man, to put in perspective, it looks like a cruise ship, but they're all in layers. So you're pretty much have a miniature feedlot of cattle on the ship that go all the way across. And so those are the non-papered, but the cattle that were registered, the higher end cattle, those are flown over in these crates. Yep, the good ones are flown over.
Wow. Were they flying cows, or were they primarily bulls that they'd
Both.
fly? Both.
Yep, they
Really?
had both.
Huh.
Yep, it was amazing to see those.
That's wild.
Yeah, they would do it out of Galveston, Texas, and out of back east. I can't remember where was that over there. Yeah, but it was. You get thousands of cows on a ship, and you can imagine the ventilation and
Oh yeah, and
The
how
work.
you handle the waste.
yeah,
Fish food.
just dump it over.
Sorry, environmentalists.
Yeah, they dump a lot worse over, I'm sure.
It's good fish food.
Yeah,
They thrive on it.
yeah, it was really cool to see the whole process of it, and then when they get unloaded. But I mean, they definitely have the sea feet when they get back once they've been on the ship for 3 weeks. And then on the horses, I wasn't over there when they did the shipping, so I'm not sure if they did them on the ship or if they flew them over. But we shipped over 12 horses on our end from Montana over to Russia, and it was nice to have our horses over in Russia. So, but the shipping process, it's not cheap. When you're shipping a horse over, don't quote me on the price, but I know it's going to be anywhere from $8,500 to probably $10,000 just to get
That's what I know
just
about.
to get it
A
shipped.
cow?
Oh no,
Horse.
horse. I'm sorry, horse.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure they had a package deal when they were doing doing the cows, but
But flying the horses, how much is it to fly a horse?
What I think,
Brazil,
I
I
think
mean.
it's 10 grand
oh man.
or more.
Yeah.
I bet.
So you can see why they want to have the best. You're already 10 grand in
Yeah.
shipping, and so you
Yeah.
better have the.
No
Yeah.
kidding. Huh. Did you grow up city, ranch? I already know the answer, but talk about where you grew up.
city, but
Are you and
Yes.
Junior from the same spot then? Because isn't
yeah,
he from
yeah.
say it one more time for all the viewers that can't pronounce it.
Presidente Prudente.
Can I say Presidente and get away with it?
Yeah.
All right.
You're from Presidentiville. So you kind of grew up in the city, but you grew up ranching too, right?
Yep.
Your dad was over here during the NFR,
Yep.
hung out.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hand.
He's a rancher.
That guy is a rancher.
Yeah.
But you grew up helping him, and your grandpa had a big operation
Yeah.
over there.
I can say my whole family.
Kind of ranchers over there.
Yep.
I'm jealous of that because, like, he sees us flaking hay and hauling hay and everything, and they just turn them out.
Pastures.
So much grass.
Not in this. Yeah, boost. Not in this area.
No.
Yeah, that's something that was crazy for me to see. And like, you guys feed hay,
Yeah.
you know, like
And a lot of it.
a lot.
Yeah.
But
You guys
that's
got
the difference.
grass is good.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking yesterday about moving cows because, I mean, even we've got those cows over on that pasture across town, and you still have to hook on, haul horses, gather them, load them in, bring them over, and not over there.
Round
Like, they don't even hardly need trucks and, sorry, my phone's ringing. They don't even hardly need trucks and trailers to haul them. They just jump on horseback mules, on mules and go push them. Talk about mules.
They're fun.
The good ones are probably.
That's like all
The
you
good
ride.
ones,
The
are,
good ones.
yeah, the good ones. Are
I've
fun.
been around some bad ones.
Yeah.
And it's not good.
Never seen a bad mule.
My grandpa had one. It was bad.
But like that's all you ride over there. Not roping and stuff, obviously, but like ranching, you made it
But
sound like
there's
that's all
a
you
guy
ride.
in Brazil. He has like probably 15 or 20 mules.
And we're
like
not knocking.
roping
And
mules.
Like
we're not
rope mules.
knocking.
Yeah.
We're not knocking mules.
No, I want a cool mule.
I've seen a few guys rope on.
I
them.
wanna make one a heel mule.
Yeah.
heel mule.
Heel mule.
You just got to swing
Heel
over
horse.
his ears. But a pile of mules.
Yeah, I think my dad today has around 30 at his place, and he has 4 guys helping him running, moving cows and gathering them, because it's an everyday deal,
Yeah.
you know. And I think each guy has between 4 and 6 mules.
Wow.
Kind of his own that he's
Yeah.
rotating through.
So you get there, you're gonna start working for my dad. Here is your 6 meals. You just ride those.
See, there again, they market the mules. So there's a video I saw once. There was a guy doctoring a calf, and he got off the mule, and that mule got if the mother cow got around, it got kicking, and it was awesome. The only mules that
You're
we've
talking
seen,
about the good meals.
the good ones.
Yeah.
Well, that's
They're
what,
not all
Not
that
the one
good.
that run away.
Well, you guys post the good ones. The bad ones that we see are going to be on Bronx and Dunks, and you're going to see wrecks. You're going to see stuff getting scattered everywhere from the stuff that.
I was telling Cole yesterday, sometimes we're just going to a pasture, just riding, and from nowhere, a mule just start bucking.
And not crow hopping.
Oh, no, I mean, it's crazy.
Like
Gonna
Wade
break something.
Sundell,
Yeah.
grand entry, get you off his back.
Oh,
Sorry,
man.
Wade. That was a bad reference. I feel bad for Wade. Wild.
yeah.
Here's a challenge for everybody. Buy a mule, make it into a rope horse, and we're gonna have an ongoing competition on who's got the rankest mule.
And I can tell you, the spot where to sell them is the Jake Clark? Anyways, I've heard of mules get sold for 50 grand plus. Yes.
Like riding mules or like plow mules?
Whatever you want. There's the Amish, they have some mules that they sell over the Jake Clark. I think he's over in Wyoming. Anyways, they sell some mules for
A pile of money and send them back east?
Couldn't believe it. Yep. Well, they put them on plows. They can ride them.
Yeah.
Like they would ride them in during the auction, like in and out of the tables.
Really?
Like while people were there. Yep. Mules, they're expensive. Just like anything, I guess.
Yeah.
But send the videos.
Wasn't there a guy in Idaho that roped on a mule when we were up there? I swear I've seen mules at some of the snake fighters.
We talking about bad horse mules, or like an actual?
No, like
Okay.
actually legit long-eared mule.
Yeah,
I swear I've seen one. I think it'd be fun though.
Have you guys seen I could say like 50 years ago in Brazil, we didn't have any trucks, no good roads, nothing. So guys like big farmers used to buy cattle from up north and walk and bring them walking to like south or something like that, like long ways.
They drive them all that way.
Yeah.
Drive them like cattle drive, not hauling them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's actually, they say it's fun, but it's cool to see,
Yeah.
you know, like, can you imagine seeing 2,000 head just going down the road
Be wild.
and 30 guys just riding mules and pushing them?
That'd be cool.
That'd be a fun day.
Big
And
tall
it's like
green grass.
a month or 2 months.
To drive them that far?
Oh, yeah, it's like, you're not
Oof.
going fast. And
Yeah.
you can just keep going. You gotta stop, give
Yeah.
them
Let
water.
'em eat,
And
drink, rest.
That's where you make a good horse or a good mule.
Yeah, they either make
that's
it or
why
break it.
we why we use mules. They're
Yeah.
tough, so you can work all day long.
Yeah.
And
Is there guys that breed them over there that you kind of get them from, or are
Oh,
they wild? Like, are you going out kind of
no.
like wild horses?
No,
Do you
no.
go gather them, bring them in, break them, or do you get them from
no,
breeders?
there's guys that have the breeding
raising
program
them?
and stuff. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
That's always been a
Got to
question
give a
I've had.
shout out to his English.
Oh yeah, 2.5
It's-
years ago, not speaking a lick of English.
It's impressive. I just thinking, I was like, man, if I had to do a 2 years after in Russia a podcast, it'd still be like maybe have to look at the dictionary a little bit. We can't remember this word.
Well,
but
you can learn English really fast if you're hanging out with Cole.
it's true.
Learn a lot of good words.
Good English.
Good English. Proper English.
He talks a lot.
What a jerk. He's not
Well,
wrong.
you set yourself up for.
He's not
you
wrong.
set yourself up.
What are your plans? I mean, you got engaged over Christmas.
I did.
Planning on being here a while then.
Yeah.
It's
That was my
exciting.
plan last year, so
Yeah.
it's just
I hope you had the camera on last. Let's do a giveaway. Who's going to win?
I didn't swear. That's the.
Yeah, we might have to put a filter on left.
An instant replay.
Oh.
Please no.
Let's just have a look here.
In my mind, I was like, no, just get scared. Don't swear.
Yeah. I want to thank our sponsor, Pepsi.
You guys can't see it, dang it.
Good.
Yeah. Just kidding. Pepsi's not sponsoring us. Don't sue us for me saying that.
We're gonna have to have some replay clips of Vlad.
We'll do that.
I'm jumpy, just a bit jumpy.
Yeah. I've scared you a few times in the office tour. You
Hurt
throwing
my
your back out.
hurt my neck.
You got a winner, Bryce?
Yes. Not yet, but now we do. Let's do Jessica Martin.
Jessica Martin.
Yes.
Jessica. You're getting some detangler. 2-pack of BioMane detangler. Send us a DM of your info. We'll get it shipped out.
Croy Smith said that air horn is scary.
How loud is it?
How loud
How
is it?
loud is it
How
when,
loud
when
is
they
it on
hear
the-
it online?
Your speaker. Oh, we need to put it right here by the mic. Oh, man. So plans. In
What's
the
your
future.
name, by the way? You can.
my name.
No, you got engaged. Want to tell a little bit about it? Or?
Tell us about your love of your life.
Oh my God.
Gonna be marrying a great girl out of Beaver, Utah.
Yeah.
They're the cutest couple. They really are. They're
They
fun to
really
be
are.
around. Fun to be around. She's got a great family.
Yeah.
We're excited for you. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Your family, you'll get married here.
Yep.
Family gonna come over.
They better.
Easy enough for them to come over as long as
Yeah.
you know passports and everything's
Mhm.
good. Cool.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully COVID crap's died down enough to where it's not a hassle for them to get over here. Not talking
Yeah, I was
about
just
that.
gonna say,
This
I was like,
podcast is
ugh.
not going to be about that crap. What else do we want to know about Brazil? What's things that you want people to know?
I wanted them to know how beautiful it is down
Yeah.
there. It's talking about Utah, like comparing Utah to Brazil. It's like, I think Utah is beautiful.
In its own way.
Yeah.
But there it's
But yeah,
Yeah, but there is beautiful as well.
lush and green for
Yeah.
the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in your area.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go.
yeah. It wouldn't. That wouldn't take much. Yeah.
Wouldn't-
Okay.
Twist my arm a
Yeah.
little.
No kidding. Let's go. Trying to think. So, like, if people would ask us about Russia, when people always hear about, oh, they ride polar bears and they all drink vodka. Obviously, it's not like
It's
that.
all true.
So, what are some things about Brazil that, like, if you hear Americans, they ask, like, hey, is this in Brazil?
Brazilian people like to party.
I can see that from Fast and Furious.
I think that's the difference. Like if we're gonna do anything, like let's say a birthday party, it's a party.
It's a party.
Yeah, it's not like here we just get family and
Put the hat
have a
on.
dinner. You know, like no,
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Talk about Carnival.
Oh, that's the huge.
That's the big party?
Yeah.
I only know that from watching Rio.
Is it the Rio party? I love that show.
From watching
Yeah.
cartoons.
Yeah.
What does that celebrate? Is that kind of like the 4th of July for the States? What does Carnival celebrate? Like, is it just
a big party?
Is it just
like,
a party?
It has like it's
got some
celebrating
meaning.
something. I forgot.
Can we look at that up?
My bad.
Yeah, let's look that up. What does Carnival celebrate?
Is it Carnival?
Well, yeah, America. It's
Carnival.
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 Haven't you seen Rio? It's Carnival. It's like where Zumba dancing originated. Right?
They're better dancers down there, right? I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't seen me and Lad dance.
2x4.
I have
That's
seen
how I
that.
dance. Stiff.
2 by
I'm not,
4.
I'm not a good dancer at all, so
We'll do a segment on Lad dancing.
Uh,
What plans for this year as far as rodeoing? You gonna pro rodeo? You gonna amateur rodeo? You gonna quit?
Yeah. I'm gonna quit and start singing.
I think that's a great idea. I've heard
No,
you
it's
sing.
not. Yeah. I think this year I'm gonna start get my permit and got some pro rodeos.
Cool.
Yeah. I have a guy asking me to do for him a BFI. I think it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So some pretty good plans.
Heck yeah.
We had someone on Facebook ask us, Brandy Maxwell. She said, "What's the main style of writing that's done in Brazil? Is it Western, English?"
That's a
Oh.
great question.
I don't know.
Do you understand the question though?
Yeah. I
saddle styles, I guess.
Is there a lot more like dressage in English, or is there more Western type?
more Western.
More Western.
Yeah.
And you were saying even like on the ranch, what you're riding on mules, you're not necessarily riding like a regular like rope saddle like we ride,
No,
right?
we have. I have never seen one here. I was
The style saddle that you ride over there.
Yeah. I was even thinking that this morning because it's a cool thing. I don't know how you guys call. I don't know nothing about that here, but if you guys want to look up and try to find a picture.
Picture of
I
a
can-
Brazilian saddle?
Hold on. The one we use
It's a working saddle, obviously. 'cause
Yeah.
if it's not, yeah.
But like if you're doctoring cows and stuff, you rope them. Do you have a horn to dally on, or how?
No, we tie to the cinch.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
It's-
Like the
Whoa.
D rings on the cinch?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we tie to the cinch. And
Is there like a specific hook or something there, or
Here.
do you just run that rope through the ring of the
No.
cinch?
So here's what we use. It's like there's
Oh.
no horn in the saddle.
Which one are you hooking it to? Just
So-
right in the front?
That's the thing. Like
Can you zoom on that camera on this?
no, but on top of this we call it like should I say blanket? So we
Looks
put
like
a blanket.
Looks like a saddle bronc saddle.
Does it?
Yeah. So you put a first cinch. The
I saw those. I remember them from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Really?
Yeah, those all the. I mean, they were like that.
Huh.
That's
So
crazy. They're on the. You guys
You got your
tie
front
on.
cinch, you were saying?
so we put a saddle. Let's say saddle.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no cinch in the like attaches to the saddle. So you throw the saddle on, back cinch. You have like, it's a longer cinch. So you tie the back cinch, okay, and then you throw the blanket on, and tie the front cinch.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. You put the front cinch on top of the blanket.
Wow.
You're tied on.
Yeah. And then it's really comfy.
Is it?
Yeah. Like, that's why, like, you can go ways.
All day.
Yeah. It's comfy. And like you say, when we have to doctor a calf or something, we just tied the front cinch, the rope. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's going through my mind.
Mind, I just think of the worst wreck you could.
sketchy.
It is like, even I was probably like 14 or 15. My dad wouldn't let me.
Wouldn't let you tie on?
No, yeah, he wouldn't. Just to doctor like newborn calves.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Your job was to just get off and do the doctoring while you
Yeah.
tied on.
But when I really wanted to rope, I just would get my American saddle, my saddle, and
Yeah.
throw on and go, because I knew, like, I can
You
alley.
could let
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. But
That's wild.
That is wild. Can
And
you imagine
like-
getting a bull and you're hooked, like you're...
I was
Start doing
18. I was 18 and working for my dad, and he would still get mad at me when we had to rope a bull or a big steer, because it is dangerous. You're tied,
Yeah.
like,
If that
and like
sucker
if
decides
you're
to head
running,
out.
you can't just rope and stop, because
Well, yeah, because they're pulling you from the side,
you
too.
got to rope, just chase it down a little bit and
Wear
just,
'em out?
Yeah,
Wow.
but
Dang, that horse has got to work the whole time.
the mule got to work. That's
Gotta work.
Like.
Again, that's why I use mules.
I seen, like, we have like big meals, like short ones,
Yeah.
like, shouldn't say pony, but
Pony-sized mules?
yeah. And I have seen a pony-sized mule holding a big bull on the rope.
Just
tied.
ignorant tough.
Like, they just standing, like, leaning and just there.
See, that's why I want a mule. I want to make a little hill horse out of a little pony mule and just have him be a post to dally on.
Could you set up how it is in Brazil on our... Obviously, you'll have the horn. Could you set it up to how you guys do in Brazil on our saddles? Just to... Or is
Yeah.
it... I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I think
That'd be
we can
Let's do it
make
today.
work.
We'll go. We got that big steer Tyson. We'll Dr. Tyson and tie him off. I don't know what horse we're going to use.
AJ.
AJ. AJ will do it.
Wow.
What about events in Brazil? Is there like a big NFR type?
Like I said earlier, we have today the ETR, that is the professional team roping, and they have PBR down there.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah.
haven't even tapped into PBR.
Yeah, we have PBR and 3 more associations.
For bull riding?
Bull riding.
Really?
And
Like professional associations. Cool.
but the thing is,
And you wonder why there's so many good bull riders coming out of Brazil.
well, we don't have a PRC, like a PRCA deal. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have a
All events type,
together,
an
you
association
know?
of all the events.
yeah.
They kind of have their own individual
We have the Bear
associations.
Racing Association. We have the Team Roping, Calf Roping. Now, they just got everything together last year,
Cool.
and PBR is there for forever now.
Yeah.
But we used to have a big rodeo at my city, my hometown, and it's just, I don't know. I was 5 or 4 when they had the last one. It's just
It's not as interesting to people as
No.
just the individual associations, huh? That's interesting.
I think what they're gonna try to do in the next couple of years, try to get all the associations together, and have a PRCA in Brazil.
Yeah. We talked about that.
So
The bull riding would be... It's already insane to watch how good they are.
Oh, yeah.
Kaiki, Jose Vic. Oh, man, he's good. Lemme.
yes.
Well, and like how cool is that for them? Like they come over here where the money's worth more,
Yeah.
you know. obviously the exchange rate you got to take into consideration, but the amount of money they get good
And
down there, and then they come
That's
over here.
another,
Yeah.
talking about me, that's another reason I don't want to leave
Yeah,
soon.
the money's good.
The money here is good, and of course there are a lot of things to pay for. You know,
The cost of living's more expensive, obviously.
Yeah, but like in Brazil, talking about team roping, you can make a live roping.
You can or can't?
No, you can't,
Really?
because it's just everything is just so expensive. And yeah, you can probably make 1,800. Like
Had a good, like doing good, having a good
Yeah.
day, you'd win 800
Yeah.
to 1,000.
you know, but it's like I'm not gonna go up in life. I'm not gonna build my own life
Yeah.
roping.
Yeah.
And here you can see like guys like PRCA pro guys, they're buying, they have like their
They're
things together.
They're going,
you know?
they're rodeoing to make the finals and have a good finals.
Yeah.
But throughout the year, they're making their money at the jackpots.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, not saying they're not making good money at the rodeos, but like the cost of going to those rodeos versus, you know.
And I think the NFR, the finals, is where they make their money.
Oh, 100%.
That's
You
their
know.
bonus.
Yeah, well, like
Yeah.
even talking to Quinn, it was a couple years ago that when he made it Heelan, I was talking to him about, you know, how much it cost to go and all that. And without throwing out numbers, it was pretty much like, you know,
Even.
I made, yeah, pretty much. Like at the end of the year, he went in lower in the standings, still made it, but he's like, man, I paid my way, and now I make my bread at the finals. So that just goes to show how expensive it is to go.
Yeah.
But all year long, they're making horses, they're selling horses, they're jackpotting. Like, how cool is it, the World Series finale? How insane is it that a guy can go and
win
compete?
this.
Granted, you're competing against 600-700 teams in the lower numbered stuff.
Yeah.
Get those teams, but you're winning 190,000 a man to win that deal. Like Jace won 6th, and one of them won over 50 grand a man.
It's a good
Nowhere
hit.
else can you do that.
No.
I mean, for half a day, you spent half a day at a jackpot, and I guess maybe all day if you're
Entered up.
if you're entered up. But if you're one of the first teams out, and then you got to wait for the short round, you spend a whole day. But $50,000 day is a pretty good day. Where guys at the finals, you know, they win the round, they win, what was it this year, 27,000, which, not to scotch at that, but there's almost, and those guys can't compete in these ropings that have all that payout. So that's the
Well, in the
crappy
10
part
days,
about
you
getting
can win
good.
270,000 if you win all the 10 rounds.
Yeah,
You know, it's
Yep.
a lot.
yeah,
And if you win the average, it's more
exactly.
70.
I thought this finals was one of the better finals we've watched.
Yeah, it was fun watching the short goes.
And like
For
going
sure.
from Texas to here, not to knock that stadium, but just the atmosphere of Thomas and Mack and that small arena. It's just funner.
It's home.
It's just funner to watch.
It's home.
Yeah, it's a
That
lot
was my
funner to
first
watch.
year going to watch the Mac and Thomas.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I like
Really?
that better, the Mac and Thomas.
Mack and Thomas.
Yep.
Thomas and Mac, right?
Yeah. Leave it to Lad to make
Yeah.
fun of your English.
I didn't make fun. I
Yeah,
said I
you
like
can
it
start
better.
making fun of me now.
But, and you guys, your dad was there. You were
Yeah.
able to take your dad. And did you know the night that they went was the night that Junior won?
Oh, really?
It was a welcome home. It was a family party.
Yeah.
Carnival.
It was Carnival in Vegas. But yeah, I liked watching it in Vegas. Who's our winner?
I don't like that.
Let's go to YouTube.
Oh, no warning.
Deja Schweitzer.
You sure you said that right? Is it Deja? Mm-hmm. That's how I would have said it good.
Yep.
Deja Schweitzer. I hope.
Switzer.
Schweitzer? Swinson. Samson. I knew it started with an S, though. Ready? Grooming gloves. You got it. DM us your info, shipping info, and we'll get that sent. What are your plans? Are you going to jackpot this year or what?
Horse dependent.
You are horse dependent.
Always
Found you
horse
one.
dependent. I think if a guy team ropes or knows how, you have to go to, I'm not saying go to all of them. You can if you want, but like Cole said, if it's paying $180,000 and you can team rope, put yourself down in that lottery and go try it out in Vegas. That's just,
Oh, yeah. Well, in the qualifiers.
you have to. Yeah, the qualifiers are awesome.
You win a qualifier that has 80 teams and you're winning
$6,000, 7.
5-6 grand a man.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like,
The handicap system that they have in team roping is just, it's,
well, and the World Series changed the whole thing.
yeah, game changer.
I mean, you could argue good way or a bad way.
Yeah. We'll stay good today, right?
Monetary aspect, a good way.
Mm-hmm.
It allows anybody and everybody that wants to jump on a horse and swing a rope, enter.
Yep.
It's not cheap. I mean, it's $150 a whack for the regular qualifiers, $300 to $500 for the specialty or super qualifiers. But, I mean, as far as level of competition, anybody and everybody that wants to swing a rope, whether you're pro, amateur, or just getting started, the opportunity's there to do it, and
Yep.
there's money in it. That's the cool thing about it, and not just bragging on the World Series, but the cool thing about team roping itself is if a guy just wanted to hop on, get on a horse that could take care of him and rope, he can go. Like, that's the cool thing about team roping is and become, somewhat competitive because of the handicap system.
Yep.
You can enter ropings that you're competing against guys of your same caliber or your same skill level and still have opportunities to make thousands of dollars.
Right.
That's, I don't
Yeah,
know,
and
that's
then-
what's appealing to it for us.
Yep. And some of those guys, when they hit big, that's life-changing money.
100%.
I mean, when you were talking about it's all pretty level. I mean, there's obviously a few sandbaggers out there.
Oh, yeah, there's the guys that are
But
get undernumbered and go under the radar, but
yeah,
I think they're more or less
That's
few
the
and far
problem in
between.
Brazil.
Is it?
There's a lot of guys going to the rope and they're all low, like
as soon as they
on
come
their
up,
numbers.
when they come up here though, we got enough wolves and they'll sniff them out.
Yeah.
Nope, that guy's not a 4 or 5.
What's the numbering system like in Brazil?
It's just like our ACTRA system.
Like the ACTRA system?
Yeah.
So compared to the tryout or the U.S. numbers, the global handicaps, it's typically about 2 or 2.5 numbers below what your World Series
Yeah.
or tryout or
Some
global handicaps
some
are.
guys say 3,
Yeah.
2.5, 2. It
Between 2 and
depends,
3
yeah.
numbers down. If you're an 8 in the World Series, you're going to be between a 5 and a 6 in the ACTRA, which
Yeah.
would be what the Brazil numbers are. Cool.
I hope we're speaking everyone's language.
Yeah.
Team ropers get it, but
Yeah. Not to get into it too deep, but team roping skill level numbers range from a 1. There's really not even ones, but they
3.
range on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being professional, 1 being someone that just picked up rope for the first time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You typically, at any jackpot you go to, there's typically never a 1 or a 2 in the World Series numbers.
yep.
And the more money you win, the better you rope, the higher that number goes. And it's a nationwide numbering system.
And anybody, we'll take.
They had a heyday a couple weeks ago and started raising a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, they did. Big
They got
full
Jays.
number jumps.
Full number jumps. Jace, sorry, bud. It was coming.
Yeah, and I have a lot of guys asking me, like, when they ask me about my number here, like, why is that so not high, but why are you an 8?
Mm-hmm.
And
8 plus now.
8+ now, but why are you an 8? And 2 years ago, you were a 2 in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like, I was told when I got here to tell, because I wasn't old enough to rope a World Series.
Oh, yeah. You had to be
Ropings.
21.
I was 19. And I just used to go to Idaho, Ogden, all the jackpots up north. And people would ask my number. I was told that my number here is 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Ride that wave while you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the guy that got my number was Chris up in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Are you 5.5?" So here's my Brazilian card. I'm 2.5 there. So
It's pretty much the ACTRA.
yeah.
Yep.
So I'm adding 3, so I'm 5.5 here. well, you don't have your card. It's like, I can't rope. Like, I can't go to World Series. Yeah, but you can still buy in your card to go to U.S. rope and the U.S. Jersey deal. Like, all right. So in December, when I bought my card, because I was going to be able to rope in Mesquite,
Yeah.
you know, my card come, I was 7.5 healer.
Really?
Yeah. I was like,
He got you there. It's all right. You've done good at it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
If anything, it makes you just bear down and rope better.
the thing about the numbers in Brazil and stuff, I think the difference is you go to number 8.5 or 9 or 10 in the World Series. If you beat 10 in all your steers, you're doing great.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're gonna win for sure.
You're
So,
talking
like,
in the 8s and 9s
Yeah,
and 10s
yeah.
roping?
yeah,
Barrier's pretty close to the same.
yeah.
everything,
Like if you be clean in all 4, you can be sure you're gonna win some money.
Man.
Win a check, yeah.
You know,
It's getting to not be the case anymore.
They're getting tough.
Yep.
yeah. But it's still like you see a lot of guys trying hard, real like, like
Trying to be fast.
trying to
when
be
they
fast.
Don't necessarily need to.
They don't need to. And in Brazil, that's the kind of the opposite. Like, you go to a low number rope in there, you gotta be fast. If not,
Everyone's catching.
yeah.
Is there an age limit there? Like in the World
No.
Series, there's an age limit of 21. If it's the 13 and under, you have to be over 21.
Does USRC have the same?
I think
I don't
it's,
think so.
they'll take all the entries they
Yeah,
want.
I don't think the U.S. has an age limit, just the World Series. I don't know why that is.
Some of these kids are just wolfy. I don't like.
Yeah, but
And the older guys
as long
don't
as they
wanna
got
rep
their
against.
number and they're in the global handicap system, I'd like to know the reasoning for that. Why? I don't know if it's because the age limit is because the finale's in Vegas, if it has anything to do with it being at a
21.
casino
Probably.
and competing at a casino arena. I don't know.
But-
or if it's
But you can
The
rope
14s.
in
Well,
the
yeah, 'cause
World
they-
Series rope
in the
when you're
14s.
20. Yeah, you can rope. In
well,
the
yeah. As long
14.
as you turn 21 the year
Yeah.
that year,
Mhm.
you can rope. But like in the 14s, there's no age limit.
Yeah,
so
I know a lot of guys like from
Yeah.
here that they're under age
yeah,
and go to the 14s.
yeah.
Yep.
You know,
So
Or if-
I don't understand.
I've heard.
I think
mean,
the information be on their website.
Yeah.
We'll look it
or
up.
it's probably they don't want a 15 years old guy winning
Beating the older guys.
no like winning a lot of money. You know, like your 400,000 or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Call Denny. Ask him.
yeah. I've heard from some of the guys that are a little older. At least what they're saying is we don't like roping against these 17, 18-year-old kids and even younger because usually they're on their parents' entry fee money usually,
Yeah.
and they're taking shots that older guys that are they're not going to take.
Well, and like so, I entered a even BioMane. We sponsored a 10 steer a couple years back, and they had the World Series barrier. They had all the World Series rules other than the age limit. Well, who won? It was a couple young kids. Kicked everybody's butts. By a few seconds on a 10 steer. Won by a mile, really. And all the older guys were ticked, saying there needs to be an age limit. It's like, which I get why, because the younger guys, they were undernumbered. Mm-hmm. But here, to me, the reason they're undernumbered is because they're not allowed to rope in the World Series and be in that numbering system and be seen and have their number adjusted accordingly. If they were able to rope in the World Series, if there wasn't an age limit, they'd be able to rope in that World Series, and they'd enter. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They'd go. But then they'd be seen, they'd go under review, they'd have their number adjusted, and they'd be able to rope with them. I think that age limit of 21 and older has put, not talking bad on it, but here's my thinking, is that age limit preventing anyone under 21 from roping in the World Series keeps those kids undernumbered. I'm not saying that's a bad thing by any means,
Yeah.
but that prevents them from getting their number adjusted accordingly, where if the World Series, like the U.S., they're not undernumbered in the U.S. system because they're going, they're being seen, and they're competing, you know what I mean?
And
so
then,
I think that's preventing their numbers. That's allowing their numbers. The age limit's allowing their numbers to stay low because, shoot, all those kids that are ropey, they're high school rodeoing. They're going to amateurs. Some of them may even dabble in the pro rodeos just for fun. But, like, they're going. They're competing.
It's like Hagen.
They're
He was 18 and he won the Aaron Pure 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, you
Hagen.
know, like-
Hagen,
Because
you
he's
know Hagen.
yeah. Wonder what was his number? Do you remember when he was?
18?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably like 7+. 7 header.
But he's 18. He can't compete
When
in
I
the World
got
Series.
here, he was 18. Now he's 20.
Yeah.
So he's 7+. 7.
But he's winning the amateur stuff, like kicking their butts, but he's too young to rope in the World Series. And not the problem, but what happens as soon as he gets 21 and able to go rope in the World Series,
Yeah,
they bump
fast.
his number, like almost instantly.
Brody Jones is another one of those ones.
Yeah.
Just fast. Just,
Yeah. Guys that rope really good at a young age, then they get into the World Series, and all of a sudden, guess what? They can't rope in much. They might be able to enter in the 13 and 14, or they're going to have to switch ends and get a double number, which that's all part of the game. Not saying knocking one way or the other, but I think that's the reason why.
Just keeps all on the level.
Yeah.
They try.
I mean, the handicap system's great because it allows anybody and everybody that wants to rope.
I wish Denny Gentry would get
like,
the whole
what
thing.
about the-
If he could get a handicap system for golfing tournaments.
Yeah. Denny, get into golf, man.
Anyways,
What
we
about
won't get-
the calf roping deal? Like, they have categories too?
Only not up here. They don't. You
Yeah.
have to, down in Texas. They have calf rope jackpots, and then there's a numbering system. I've never been down there for them,
Mm-hmm.
but up here it's all. It's either they have like high school 18. They
It's
call it-
age limited.
Yeah, it's.
I heard like they have like the number 10, 9, number
down there.
8. Yeah. I don't know what it's.
Yeah, down there they have their whole. I mean, I wish I knew more about it, but we don't have any.
Yeah, it's limited by.
Up here they have what's it called, the 1840. That's kids under 18 or guys that are over 40. That's kind of the.
Or they'll have like high school age jackpots.
Can you rope in
or
it?
opens.
What's that?
You can open the 40 and over, can't you?
Getting close.
That's what you get for making fun of his English, jerk.
I'm just kidding.
It's,
Do
it's
you-
fine. It's part of the age.
Competition wise, do you think it's tougher to, if you had the same number and you were riding the same horse and you had the same partner, let's make everything the same. Would it be harder to win a jackpot and the same number jackpot, say it's a 13 here and a 13 over there? Would it be harder to win a jackpot in Brazil against those guys or harder to beat guys here in the States? And not to knock anybody or say U.S. is better or Brazil is better, but I'm curious, what's tougher?
What kind of cattle? Because we
That's
can
a
rope.
determining
Yeah, but we're
factor.
just like thinking,
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a determining
Because
factor.
I tell everybody, we can go over there. Like, I know a lot of guys here that rope neck really good.
Uh-huh.
You know, like that's not because he's my partner, but Case Thomas. I think he ropes neck really
As
good.
good as anybody.
And if he
Hagen.
goes there, Hagen, if he goes there, the cattle there is lower than here,
He'd beat him up.
so it's easier.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's what I think.
As long as you can rope next.
Yeah. I think the cattle.
Cattle
is-
look, from my perspective, without even saying, the cattle to heel look easier in Brazil.
Oh yeah,
Just kind of big,
big hops.
we're like
Big,
roping
slow.
muleys. Muleys are
easy.
fun to
I
rope.
love roping. Well, that's the difference, though, is over there you're roping
Non-horned cattle.
non-horn cattle, but over there you're roping muleys that look kind of longer legged, almost like what I compared to like a big Holstein calf versus like when we go up to Cheyenne and you get in those muley ropings and you're roping little 400, 350, 400 pound beef calves that are just ping, 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 ping,
Yep.
ping, fast, soggy bellied. I mean, thick feedlot looking cattle versus some taller, skinnier, long legged cows that are just like
Don't
a
want to
rocking
say
chair.
Don't want to say layups.
No, but really,
But-
when you compare them to a little dead fresh beef calf,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd rather rope Brazilian cattle.
Oh,
I don't
when
want
the money's up. It's
I
fun
don't-
roping those fast cows.
yeah.
I hate talking about the like cattle wise and stuff because people, just because you're there, you think Brazil is easier. No, it's like there's a difference.
Yeah.
You know, I know there's like some jackpots they have a pretty tough pan of theory
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. You know, I have seen open jackpots. They put like freshies and stuff.
And they're tough.
They are tough.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, here you go to the slides and open 15, 14. You go to the open knowing that the cattle is going to be a
Right.
14 or 15 or open cattle.
Yeah.
And if you go to a 14, there's a softer pen in that open. That's why we go to the
That's what you hope
slides.
for.
Yeah, go for it. Like, you got to be 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a knife fight.
You know,
Yeah.
like, we go to the jackpots to the slides around here. If the steers are tough, it's going to be
It's a tough rope.
it's a tough rope, and it's going to be a catching.
It's a catching game.
Catching
not If
game.
they're soft cattle in a 12 or 13 slide where
You
it's
got to
like,
be 4.
we got to be 4 on
Like,
everything.
if I'm a 16 or 15 team,
Yep.
you got to be 4, 5.
Because you got seconds added.
Could you imagine if this would be a flip flop in Brazil? What if the short go they brought in horn cattle for a short go for like a 9 or 8 open, and the same deal over here? Gosh, dang
That
it!
one got me. Josh is having too much fun with this. Okay, Bryce, pick us a winner.
That is so loud here.
Let's do Rebecca Charles from Facebook.
Rebecca Charles.
Yep.
Okay, Rebecca Charles, we're going to spin for you.
You're doing good.
BioMane hat. We're going to send you a BioMane hat. Do we want to send her some pictures or just randomly select it?
Randomly.
We'll do.
Let's give her her favorite.
Ask her colors maybe. Teal.
Rebecca, right? DM us your shipping info and a couple options of your favorite colors, and we'll pick one out and get it shipped to you.
Yep.
For those of you, I haven't even circled back. For those of you that got in here late, we got Joao Miranda as our featured guest. He's from,
Brazil.
well, I can say Brazil. What part of Brazil?
Brazil.
Brazil.
Brasil.
What part of Brazil?
Presidente, São Paulo.
Presidente,
South.
Presidente.
South.
How do you say?
Presidente, Presidente.
Presidenteville, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yep.
South
Not
Brazil.
making fun of me.
We're making fun of loud.
That's all right.
Joel's been here a 2.5 years. Came here on a rodeo scholarship to Snow College in Ephraim, Utah.
Yes, sir.
And let's get some questions. If you guys have questions, you can comment on the Facebook or really anywhere you want. Ideally, the best quality is on Facebook or YouTube. If you have any questions about horsemanship, life in Brazil, what it's like, Carnival, what kind of parties are in Brazil, whatever you want to know, go ahead and ask Joel. We'll pop them up and ask him. And we're also doing giveaways every 20 minutes. In order to be eligible for the giveaways, we need you to comment and use hashtag BioMane Live Show, and that's how we're selecting our winners. Yes.
I was gonna ask what are the, so obviously down like up here we're open Corianis and that's kind of the main. So down there, what's the main breed cattle called?
Everything.
They have everything,
Everything
like up
you
here?
can gather and
Anything you can
you
get.
know, like now they have they try to get the Angus or whatever, the beef cow, like beef calves, because they're faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to Muley Jackpot here, they usually just
Have beef calves.
Yeah, and they're stronger than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they're trying to do there. But down there, the jackpots, we just get a lot of teams because we don't have as many jackpot that we have here.
Yeah.
You know, like jackpots there, here we have jackpots Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you go down in Wickenburg, you have jackpot every day.
Every day.
You can choose.
And there will be 300
Yeah.
teams at every jackpot in Wickenburg this time
Yeah.
of year.
And
Even the backyard jackpots.
there, we have jackpots just in the weekends, you know. So let's say we have a jackpot next weekend. We're going to get around 400 teams.
Everyone's there.
Yeah, everyone's there.
Everyone's there.
You know, everyone.
Have you seen videos of their jackpots, like the short rounds and stuff?
Oh, down there?
And
Oh,
they're
I love
loud.
it.
loud.
Yeah.
The announcer, I mean, it's,
I got to turn the volume down. It's
announce
obviously
the
that
So-
song.
early.
It's intense.
We have a jackpot down there. It's every year. It started in I think 2000. I'm pretty sure. In the first 10 years, this jackpot was enter up. And I mean, enter up.
Enter up meaning there's no limit on entries. You can get in
Yeah.
as many times as you want.
Wow.
And would last a week.
The roping would last a week.
That same
A
roping?
week. It wasn't like a 12, 13,
It
11,
was-
none of
it
that. It was
wasn't
one
like-
roping.
It wasn't like the entries start like the books are gonna be open at 9. No, the books are gonna be open at 9 until
We're done.
you guys are done. Not we are done. Yeah.
What was that usually?
Like
read?
if the roping would like stop, and after 4 hours, guys just get together. Hey, wanna rope? Wanna rope? Wanna rope? Like
Just keep it rolling.
I was too little, and I don't remember that, but that's what I have. I heard a lot of guys telling me, my dad, you know, that was crazy, and still today, like a couple years before I came over, I went to this jackpot. That's in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And in the roping that I got in, they got 1,700 teams. And that was 2 nights without go to bed.
Huh.
It'd kill you.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I could do it, but I would be miserable. I have to have a lot of energy drinks.
Like, are you going to go to a jackpot that has 1,700 teams?
No.
Truck,
To be
truck,
an
truck
8,
ropings have those.
To be
and that's it.
7, you got to go and be really fast.
Yeah.
You know?
You're going against thousands of teams.
It's like a truck roping, but it sounds
That's
like
bigger
it's a
than any
little-
truck roping I've ever even heard of. I think the biggest truck roping I've heard of was one in Arizona. I want to say it was like 1,400 teams.
I went to a roping. I was 13, 14. And they had, let's say, our number in Brazil, number 5, 4, and number 3 together. They got 2,000 teams. Those
Gosh.
2 days.
How many
going.
how many arenas were they running?
1.
One arena with
One.
2,000 teams?
2
Like
days.
a 3-header or what?
The number 5 was 3-header, number 3 2, and I think number 4 was 2-headers too.
But that was when you were little, right?
Yeah, it was 13.
One arena.
That's yeah.
Are rules pretty similar in
Yeah.
Brazil than they are? Like,
We get all, like we could say, we get all the rules from World Series and stuff. The same program that runs the World Series in the USRC runs the association in Brazil.
I bet the crossfire rule gets pretty heated over there too once in a while, doesn't it?
what's
He does.
crossfire?
Crossfire.
Joe, yeah, crossfire is when it's an illegal hill shot. That's the if you throw before that steer switches, like if you throw and they're
Once
still
a switch.
yeah, when they switch, they have to turn.
Switch directions.
Yep, and if you throw it too quick, that's a crossfire to get flagged out to no time.
Can
Tip.
you crossfire?
Can I crossfire?
Mhm.
It's got to be pretty good for me.
I can't. That steer's got to be, when that steer leaves the chute, he's going straight. The header ropes his head and turns that steer left. That steer has to switch directions. That's why they call it the switch. Switch directions and take a legal
Jump.
hop or take a first hop in that direction before he's legal to heel. Some associations don't have that rule.
USRC, I think, didn't have the rule.
The USCRC didn't
But
until
they got
last year or the year
till,
before, right?
I think until last
Until
year.
maybe Global Handicaps kind of got
Yeah, I
involved.
think so.
I think. Don't quote us on
I
that.
like watching when you can.
Oh, it's fun watching
It's
like the
fun to watch.
2016, 2017 U.S. finals, where you get guys like,
If they went out,
yeah, if they went
'cause
out,
they went out in the first tier, they
And
can
they're
go
just
for the rounds.
blasting them,
The American, they'll let them come at them too.
bombing over the chute. As soon as that steer's head turn and his rear goes switching, it's fun to
And-
watch.
Yep.
Another thing that I forgot to tell you guys, not tell, but when we were talking about money wise, like roping here and there, the thing is, you go to a jackpot there. I don't know if you guys have heard that. our jackpots, we give like cars, trucks, motorcycles.
Oh yeah, I remember you
You
told me
know,
you won
yeah. Like
a
if
handful of stuff.
Junior, I don't even know how many motorcycles he won.
Really?
Yeah, but like you go to a roping. Let's say we're gonna go to a roping next weekend, and we know the first place is gonna give you a car. They don't give you the car. They give you the money. You know, it's just saying that it's a car.
Really?
Yeah.
So like a voucher? Does it have to go? Does that money have to go towards that car?
No.
Do you have the option for the car?
Some ropings in the past, yes. Not anymore. Today you go like most of the jackpots. They just say first place a truck, but it's a 30,000.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen like at truck ropings here where you can sell the truck back on a prize like a truck. I don't think they allow you to sell the truck back, but like there's a lot of jackpots that do
Trailers, right?
trailer. Well, not even, like the big prize. I swear, like if it's even a smaller truck, a side by side, a trailer, anything like that, I don't think you're able to sell that back. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say you're not able to,
Right.
but I haven't seen that option on the bigger prizes. But like saddles, a lot of times, especially if it's a saddle series, like every roping, the winners get saddles. A lot of the times, you'll be able to sell that saddle back. Typically, when you're not able to sell that saddle back or the prize back is when it's specifically done for that roping. Like, hey, year-end champion. You know what I mean? That saddle's tooled up for that specific roping. You can't sell it back because they can't give that saddle away.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of the year. If it's got a 2021 stamp on it, they're not going to let you sell that back typically because they can't give it away next year.
Yep.
But that's interesting.
Are the ropes different in Brazil? Like, is there like a favorite manufacturer like in Brazil that people go with the ropes? Or is it pretty same?
They tie
with
their
the
own
American?
ropes or they
Oh
ship
yeah,
everything?
we have 3 companies down there doing
Good
their
question.
own. Yeah, that's a pretty
Good
good
one.
question. I think we have 3 power. Yeah, 3 that make their own ropes and stuff, but we still have Classic, Cactus, Lone Star. We have all the same ropes that you guys. Not all, because we don't have top hands. We don't have those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which one now. So
The other company, you got Top Hand, E4.
Oh, there's a bunch, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a handful of them. But is there
Rattler.
price difference? Well, Rattler would be under Equibrand. Or
Yep.
if they got classics, they should have Rattlers, like the GT4s
Yeah.
and those. But if you were to buy, say, a Lone Star or a Classic, is that going to cost significantly more than buying a
Oh, yeah.
Brazil tied rope? Is it?
almost double.
Almost double?
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured it would be, but I'm curious. What, I think you and I have talked about this. Do you have a preference? Like if you were in Brazil, living in Brazil, would you spend the money on American made? I shouldn't say American made because I don't want to make it a competition, but do you prefer, I know you like the GT4. Do you prefer the GT4 even in Brazil over Brazil tied ropes?
I would, but thinking about spending my money to buy
Yeah.
it, you know, like
Do you feel like you can win with the Brazil tied ropes?
Oh, I can.
Which
like,
you did for a long time.
I had a sponsor that was the rope that is from there.
Uh-huh.
I was sponsored from that like for 2 years, and they're not terrible. They're good,
They're good ropes.
you know.
Do
But
they hold
if-
up? Do they hold up better because it's humid down there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
that's a point that people from Brazil don't understand, and here,
Is tying them for the conditions
yeah,
and the seasons.
yeah, and
Well, you probably have a pretty steady season down where you're at in Brazil, right? Climate,
yeah,
like it's pretty consistent. Like you don't have freezing cold, then
yeah.
super
We
hot.
have
like here it's
our
32 degrees.
Our
this
winter
morning.
there is cold,
Yeah,
but it's not.
you're not 32
No,
degrees
you're
in the
not
morning in
32.
December and 115 in July in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Europe goes from being a cable to a noodle wherever you're at.
Exactly.
Explain a little bit about, like, I guess the rope industry, like, meaning, like, how many models of ropes would, like, a rope company have, and then, like, what are all the differences between, like, why are, I think a lot of people don't know, like,
Yeah.
why there are different types of ropes.
Was that audio good for? Do you want to repeat the question? We good?
Yeah, just repeat it.
So the question is, describe if a rope company's selling ropes, what does their inventory have to be? Like, what are the differences in the ropes? So let's take, you like the GT4. Let's take the GT4, for instance. You're going to have a head rope, which is typically a few feet shorter, and it's softer because for reasons, roping horns this wide, you want it to be softer so you can get that rope to bend and curl around those horns, versus a heel rope you want stiffer to where when you throw it, it's going to stand up for that steer to jump into. You're essentially setting a trap for those feet, more or less. We're talking elementary about it. But so to answer that question, head ropes, you're typically going to have 4 lays. You're going to have an extra soft, an extra soft, a soft, and a medium soft is typically what they are. So you'd have to have 4 head ropes in just the GT4. This is like if you bought a Rattler GT4, if you're creating those, each rope that you've got is you're typically going to have 4 different, and they call them lays, the softness is going to be 4 lays, extra soft, extra soft, soft, medium soft, and then the heel ropes, the same is true. They're stiffer and a little bit longer. You're going to have medium soft, medium, schmedium. You're going to have medium soft, medium, hard medium, hard. Yep. So to answer your question, you're going to have 4 varieties of a head rope, 4 varieties of a heel rope, and some rope companies even take those ropes and they diversify them a little more by changing the diameter of the rope.
And you do have the soft heel rope.
And you do have a soft heel rope. So
Classic does.
So you have maybe 5 different varieties of that rope. And then you're going to also, some rope companies do difference in diameters, how thick that the core, I shouldn't say the core, but the diameter of that rope is. You'll have a light, which is smaller diameter. You'll have a regular, like Lone Stars, their helix rope. They've got the same, 4 or 5 varieties, 4 or 5 different lays in the head ropes, but then also they've got 3 different diameters. So say you've got 5 lays in one rope, you've got 10 in just that helix. Well, then you've got 3 different diameter options. So you could buy a helix and have 30 different options to buy for that helix, which to me, inventory, purchasing, stocking is a nightmare. But they've got it down to a science and they feel really good. That's a rope that I like. And, if I were to endorse a rope, I really like that rope. I really like the GT4. That's just team roping. You get into
Lad
breakaway
knows
ropes.
about calf roping.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Talk
calf
about calf
roping.
ropes.
Well, we could, this segment right here could go forever, but it all comes down to feel, right? Like,
yeah, and that's why there's so many options. Is it's specific to the feel. You've got, look at your rope, and you're talking about there's 2,000 teams. Well, there's 2 guys on a team, so there's 4,000 different guys. Not necessarily they get in multiple times.
Yeah.
So, but you can figure there's at least 2,000 people there. Each different guy is gonna like something maybe a little bit different. I really like the heel ropes that you swing, but it doesn't fit what I like as much as what you like. You know what I mean? I can get by with them. I like them. They last good. But if I were to have a Helix Light and a hard medium and a GT4 and a hard medium, I'd pick the Helix Light. So that's why there's so many different varieties. Same with calf ropes, not as many because for obvious reasons. But talk about keep it.
Yeah, outside. Just conditions. That's a big thing. Conditions. If it's hot, your rope's generally going to be. It'll go way soft. So calf ropers generally, if they're using grass ropes, they'll put them in a rope can. If they're going to keep them to where they're feeling pretty good, they keep a wet rag in there to keep the moisture in there. And then if it's rainy and muddy, they're probably not going to use that grass rope. They're going to use something poly that's got more stretch in it. But like I said, and Cole said, it all comes down to feel. There's so many different varieties. So you're going to have to just go out there and just swing ropes. And I'm sure the people in Cal Ranch and all these IFA stores love when they go take out the ropes with all the, what are they called? The bands. leave the rope ties everywhere.
How frustrating is it when you go into a store to buy a rope and, for one, here's my frustration and why I became a dealer for them for selling ropes is because you go in to buy a rope that you specifically want, like we talked about, like you've got what you like, you know it feels good, you go into the store to buy it. They either don't have it or they have it, but somebody's taking the ties off, because most stores will let you go swing that rope. You know, you can go out in the parking lot, take the ties off, swing it, make sure it feels good, which I would recommend doing. Because, I mean, if it's December and you go, the rope that you get off the shelf was tied in July or August, it's going to feel, you know, it was tied for summer conditions, where in the winter it's going to have a different feel. But you go to the store and the only rope that you like and that fits you has been taken out of the ties, swung, maybe scraped on the asphalt from a guy feeding it, and then thrown back on the shelf. It's like... That's the most frustrating thing. Yep. Okay. Giveaway. Pick somebody. We might have to get a cowbell or something. This air horn's going to cause some accidents.
Let's do Wyatt. Ooh, let's see if I can pronounce this. Cloward.
Wyatt Cloward?
Cloward, do you know him?
Wyatt's a Utah guy.
Wow.
As long as it's the Wyatt we're thinking of. Thanks for tuning in, Wyatt. No special treatment, though. Grooming gloves. Wyatt, you going to Mesquite tomorrow or this weekend? We'll bring him to Mesquite, to the Jackpots.
Save you the shipping.
Save you the shipping. Well, save us the shipping. He's not paying the shipping.
You hear that, everybody?
Might cost more to drive him to Mesquite than it will to ship him flat rate. Cool. Wyatt, you get some grooming gloves. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, that's essentially why I was like, hey, I'm just going to see if I can become a dealer, because then you always get fresh ropes.
You know what you're swinging.
Heck of a lot more expensive,
yeah,
because you got to meet minimum order quantities and that, but you know what you're swinging, and you know they're getting fresh. You know you're getting fresh ropes tied in that season. Anyways, works better. But that's a great question on ropes in Brazil. What do you think is the difference? What was my question? It was about roping muleys and horns. Here was the question. When you're roping muleys, non-horned cattle, and roping necks, do you see guys over there using stiffer head ropes? Do you?
Yeah. Most of the guys, like the pro guys there, they use median or hard median.
Do they?
Yep.
The reason I asked that, I had a medium heel rope one day. I don't think you were here yet. But we're roping muleys. I went over to Staley's and got some muleys, and I wish I still had them, but they were like Bramer crosses. I mean,
I remember those ones.
Yeah, you remember them. Yeah. Ignorant. Yeah. I mean, mean,
spotted,
wild. They look like what you'd see at a Brazil jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
And
buck and bull heifers.
Yeah, seriously, they seriously look like buck and bull heifers. Not that big, but they were smaller. Anyways, and I was heading them. I just had a medium heel rope there on the rack, grabbed it. The greatest thing to rope muleys with.
Yeah, the first muley roping I was with the wings.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got a hard median. They're like, what are you doing? Like, I'm hatting.
Using a hard medium? That's not a head rope.
Yeah, like, I'm hatting.
For one, it's longer.
Yeah.
That heel rope, you can reach more.
Mm-hmm.
And it just stays open. Like.
Yeah, I used to use a medium soft most of the time to head. I started heeling 3 years ago, a year before I came. I used mostly head, and medium soft was
what you'd use to head.
And then it's funny because when you change horses and you change ropings, like if you go to
that'll determine kind of
higher number roping, it's kind of like you're trying to change, you know.
Yeah.
And then last year I was heading with a median and heel rope. I was like, it feels better.
Yeah.
You know, I had to change that because of the horse I was riding and the steers I was roping and the ropings and stuff. But at the same time, sometimes I was like, should I go back to medium soft, or should I go to hard medium? Because you see guys roping with hard medium and like, it looks just so easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you say, it goes from person to person.
Yeah. What do you, again, for those of you kind of tuned in a little late, we've got Joao Miranda here. He's from Brazil. He's lived here for the last 2.5 years. Came to the States, came to Utah directly from Brazil, not knowing a lick of English. So kudos to
awesome.
you.
It's
That is
amazing.
cool. I mean, it's kind of throw you into the fire and make it or break it, and you've made it. So, but train horses for a living. What do you look for in a good one? Whether it's buying a prospect, what are some things that if you could say you've had 5 good ones over the years, what's something, and let's talk heel horses first. If you had to pick your top 5 heel horses that you've rode, maybe not even owned, but rode, what are a couple or a few things that each horse had? Obviously, all of them are different and had their special things, but what's something that consistently each horse had that you liked and you look for?
Trust.
Trust? You trust in them or they trust in you?
Both.
Yeah, cool. How do you think you get that? Do you think it comes with the horse or do you think it's built in
It
between?
comes with the horse, but at the same time, you can build that practicing, riding every day. Not like just running steers,
But
loping
like
around, you know,
riding that
like
horse.
riding. I think that's the most important thing. Like sometimes one horse, if I like, let's say I have one horse and he looks awesome with me on him. And if you can get on him and he won't work as good as he does when I'm on him, you know. So I think as trust is the thing, the deal between you and your horse.
Cool. What else?
And should we say how broke your horse is?
That's what I was
It
going to ask you.
helps.
Do you like one that's more...
There's a few
Mm-hmm.
horses that they don't need to be broke, they don't need to be anything, and they're good, you know.
Yeah.
Like patterned.
Yeah. But most of the time, if you have a really good start on the coat, he probably gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
You
For
know.
me, they're funner to ride.
Yeah, they are way more fun.
You know, like if you're buying a prospect and making, you know, your goal is to finish that horse out. Start him, you know, horse that hasn't been roped on, for instance, or even if he has. If you're taking a horse through the ranks, training one, and want to finish him and have a good end product, not saying an unbroke one won't make it. I just squeak.
Well,
Unbroke.
wasn't that bad, but
It's noticeable. Bound to get some comments on that. But for me personally, it is a lot funner and a lot more fun. And just a lot more enjoyable to ride one that's got a handle on them. Not saying that you can't put a handle on them, but that would be for me is put a handle on them and then go to roping on them.
That's my opinion and the way I think. I don't look at papers.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if I'm trying to sell horses and this whole
There
deal,
are people that care about papers,
like,
so you might need them.
Yeah, but if you're just looking at papers, in my mind, you gotta look at the horse, like what he's doing, what he can be, and you know, like there's a lot of great horses
Oh, yeah.
they're better than
yeah.
How many guys at the finals this year?
Clay Smith.
Yeah, how many guys
His
at the
gray
finals
horse
were?
doesn't have papers.
Who else was it that bought the little bay horse?
Levi Lord.
Was it Levi?
Mm-hmm.
He has
Bought the little
old
horse
bay
for nothing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say nothing, but for cheap.
Levi Simpson, his gray horse.
Yeah.
Palomino. I don't know.
Like-
No, Sorrow horse.
Was it
white
Sorrow
face.
with the blaze face?
sorrel?
Yeah.
The blaze, yeah.
I mean, buying essentially like an auction horse, like a livestock auction horse, not like a big time horse sale, or buying feedlot type horses, and those suckers make it.
I like hearing about those horses.
I
more,
love it, too.
More than the Ferraris that are just
Yeah.
broke and just.
Well, and right down to papers, you could buy something sight unseen with great papers and get them, and you could be crooked legged. You know what I mean? You can't
Yeah.
just ride papers. But I agree. If you're in the business of or have the plan to market that horse eventually and sell that horse,
Oh, yeah.
if he's not a lifer for you, if you're going to eventually sell that horse, there's a lot of people. And I was going to say there's a lot of people that rely on those papers. There's a lot of people that have to have good papers
Mm-hmm.
that don't know what those papers are. You know what I mean? not to talk bad on people, but I want this horse to have great papers. And
I own the mother, the sister, and
well, and that horse is going to sit in the pasture the rest of his
Yeah.
life. What good does those great papers do for you on a gelding? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Other than
pasture
having the bragging rights that he's an own son of so and so. Anyways, I get both sides, and I'm the type that they have to. I shouldn't say they have to. Like, I got a horse at the house right now that's grade, 14 or 15-year-old grade gelding, but he's nothing special. He's not an ugly horse, but he's not something you look at and you think, you know. But you roped on him yesterday.
Yeah,
Great to head on.
anyone can get along with that.
Anybody
horse.
could get along with that horse. You
Yeah.
can put anybody, a beginner, or you can throw a guy like you to go make some sharp runs, and that horse is going to fit all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
No papers, nothing great to look at, but that horse you can win on. You know what I mean? So there's both ends of it. So they got to trust you. You got to trust them. Prefer one that's a little more broke, or at least has a handle. Not necessarily they have to come to you broke, but you get them broke and a lot more feel to them before you start roping on them.
We have talked about that, like the feeling between you and in your horse.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a trust deal, and then there's the riding, the feeling of your legs and stuff. Horse knows what you're doing on
Yeah.
it. You know, like that's why practicing is not that easy just to get on a horse and ride or rope.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can tell, like, if you do something wrong, it's going to happen in the next couple of days again.
Yeah.
Because the horse, that's the feel, he felt that
Yeah.
one day, you know. So, there's a lot details about training a horse.
Yeah.
Do you prefer a certain pedigree in your horses?
Yeah, of course. If we're talking about papers, and I would try to get, like, if you talk to a lot of horse trainers, hey, I don't like to ride the coats out of this stud.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, this stud is not, he doesn't produce good coats, you
Yeah.
know, like, it's, yeah.
If you were to be picky on, like, if you could pick the papers for a horse, like not a dream horse, but a horse that you wanted, what kind of papers would you want? What would you want on the papers, I should say?
I don't know. Like I say, I don't mind papers in the, you know, like, today there's 2 studs. Like, I think Shining Spark is the top one,
Yeah.
and he died last week. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did.
But, and now they're like the Shining Spark coats, and
Yeah, now
You
they're
can't get them anymore.
no.
Yeah.
I don't know how much frozen semen they'll have. I'm sure they will, but that'll run out.
Yeah, there is a lot of studs to.
I think you're going to see in the next 2 years, 2 or 3 years,
barrel horse.
the Shining Spark studs, the own sons of Shining Spark, that are producing and still earning and have earning offspring, that value is going to go up.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, it's just like sports cards. You know, once that athlete dies or retires, especially after he dies, the price of those goes up. Like if you had a signed Babe Ruth ball, how expensive is that right now? You know what I mean? If you have an own son, a Shining Spark, that's producing and kicking their butt, the price of him goes up because you can't get any more sons of Shining Spark.
Talking about studs and stuff, I told you, I don't know if I told you, my grandpa was one of the first guys to take a horse from here to
Brazil?
Brazil.
I forgot that, yeah.
And the horse is related to Cole's head horse.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
what we were
on-
talking
yeah.
about.
Do you remember
We saw the papers, and it's
Was
a
he
par 3 or something like that.
was he on her papers?
No, he
A stud that he
yeah.
a
I think
colt
his grandpa or his
stand by.
they're related.
That's pretty cool.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Small
read
world.
you these papers and you can tell me what it is.
Small
But it's
world.
just like when this stud got in Brazil,
Rusty par 3.
yeah,
She
So
goes back
when
to Rusty Par 3.
his
on the
name
bottom.
was Par 3, some Mr. Par 3.
Cool.
So when he got in Brazil, he was like, oh, that horse came from, like, he was good.
Yeah.
You know, he was good. But at the same time, there's the deal that he came from U.S.
There was the
You
cool
know,
factor
yeah.
to him
My grandpa was able to get enough money to build a ranch out of,
from breeding that stuff.
yeah.
Cool.
You know, so if you go there today, there's still all the barn,
That stud
yeah,
paid for.
everything is there.
That's cool.
And
Wow,
it's
that's awesome.
that's the cool thing. Like, you get there. Why is that? Because of the Par 3 stud.
Cool.
You
That's
know.
awesome.
That is cool.
So there's like, and we see like Dual Patron, the rank heel
buckskin.
horse, the buckskin. He went to Brazil,
Yeah.
and you don't hear about him anymore.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can try to do something to make money, and where's the stud? Like here,
Yeah.
he was the star.
He was cool here.
You know.
Joseph kicked their butt on him. He showed great, and then he goes there, and you don't hear much. Maybe it's because they're not advertising him because they're waiting for a full
Yeah,
crop
who
out of him
knows?
that's going to be going. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's cool. I forgot he went to Brazil.
Yeah.
Junior's mare. Did we talk? I mean, we talked about that mare.
Yeah.
But she sold to Brazil for
Hallie,
a
yeah, she sold to Brazil, but I don't think. I don't know if she's going or not. I know she's at Junior's place now.
pile. But someone from Brazil bought her.
Yeah.
They might keep her here and show her or whatever. Cool. She was 4.
Hallie?
Yeah.
No, she's old. She's 14.
The
13.
roan?
No, that's
the gray mare.
The gray mare, and the roan is 7. The road.
Did
this
they
year.
ship her over?
I don't know.
Cool.
I think they will.
Yeah.
Is there something that you guys look? So over here, I remember my grandpa would look at it once in a while when they have swirls. Have you heard of the swirls on their heads? Remember the swirls? They have one swirl in the middle of their head,
Oh yeah.
and then sometimes they have a few. Is that what's maybe down there in Brazil? There's something that you guys look at in a horse that we might not have any idea of how they look. Like I like watching kind of the older guys that are horse trainers, kind of like when they're walking around a horse, when they're like when Cole asked you, what are some things that
One thing that I learned, if you want a good horse that stops, I don't remember who told me that, but if you're looking at like a horse to buy, you want a horse that stops pretty good, look how he walks. When he steps, like you pay attention to his left side, let's say.
left side?
Yeah.
Okay.
He steps with his front left here, and if he steps with his front left,
With his hind left.
yeah, with his hind in the same spot or in front,
He'll be a stopper.
he's gonna be a stopper.
'Cause he got a little bit more
Because he's able to
flexibility.
get underneath himself.
Underneath.
Yep. A little more
Even at a
mobile.
walk without trying, he's able to
And
get his
if
hind
you
end up underneath
if you
himself
pay
more.
attention on a horse that you know that can slide, they usually steps in front of.
in front.
Yeah.
Be
more
interesting
flexible.
to see how Cardi does. Have you looked at Cardi?
Mm-hmm.
Makes
She's
We've
sense.
got a
steps
little
a little bit.
4-year-old mare that we healed on all summer, and now we break away on her. That will dirty
Yeah.
drag.
Of course, there's the slider
Yeah, I mean,
and
Yeah.
stuff.
you can
but-
help that with the
Yeah,
sliders, but
but-
conformation-wise, it'd be interesting to see where her hind foot lands in relation to her front foot coming off the ground. That's
Yeah.
cool.
A lot of guys look at the horse neck.
Like the
Long-
length of the neck?
Yeah.
Like them shorter.
Mm,
kind of
I wouldn't buy a
depends.
long neck horse.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
You
They're
know,
hard to throw a rope.
That, there's some that you
and
hop
some
on and
of
you
them
feel like
they're just slow. Like if you can tell they're slow.
they're a long-necked horse. Typically, they're going to be longer backed, longer
Mm-hmm.
strided. But I've been on some horses that are so short-necked. Is naked a word?
Short-necked.
Short-necked. Short-necked horse that you feel like their ears are right here the whole time. And not that that's a bad thing, but that's a little more uncomfortable for me.
Yep.
But yeah, to your point, the swirls on the head, there's,
We do have this.
I don't know if
Yeah,
it's an
Brazil.
old wives'
This is
tale or
good.
if there's legit science behind it, but they say, the placement of that swirl, it's like a calic,
Yep.
like in your hair, it's like a calic. Where that swirl sits on that horse's head, if it's lower, higher, to the left or
Yeah.
right, is a telling sign of that horse's temperament. how that horse is going to be.
My grandpa used to
Attitude-wise.
tell me, like, just look at, always if you look in the back of the neck, like behind the ears and stuff, and right in front.
So the cowlick up on
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that'd be kind of all the people listening probably gonna have their horses lined up. I got this swirl
We
here
should do
and there.
something like that, though, for everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
who's got a 4-swirled horse or?
well, like, just on BioMane. Like, we should do this. Take a picture of your horse's swirl, where it's at, and when you send that picture to us, sorry, Bryce, Josh, you're gonna get a bunch of DMs probably, but let's pick I don't know, we'll do a giveaway. Let's pick somebody that let's pick 5 people. As long as we get a pile of them, we'll pick 5 people and send you a grooming kit. But what I want to do is, and we're going to get this data and we'll revisit it, but take a picture of your horse where the swirl is on his head and put what that horse's temperament is. I don't care if you got an ignorant outlaw horse. It doesn't matter to us. If he's a dink, let us know that he's a dink. Or if he's really chill, if he'd be a kid's horse, if he's higher caliber, a hot horse. Put what he is in the picture of where that swirl is, and we'll do a little survey and find out. I'm going to do it on all our horses.
I like
now.
that. Or an outside source, because usually people are like, "Oh, he's really good."
Yeah,
he's an outlaw. Never
Ask
seen
your
him buck
open
before.
partner what he thinks about your horse. We don't care what you think your horse is. Like, we wanted a third opinion.
That's right.
But yeah, do that and DM us. We're going to do, how many we got at the house? 18, 19?
18.
18 of them. We'll do all 18 and compare.
Yeah, my my grandpa told me that. And I always thought it was because I don't buy a horse dependent on that swirl, but it's kind of fun to look at it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what everyone says. I can't remember the most that they can have on there. I know it's
Number of swirls?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know.
it's like a 4-leaf
I
clover.
know. There's 2 back here.
On
Oh,
the
yeah,
neck?
where are we gonna
On
do
the
it?
neck.
Just
Oh,
on
they're
the
just on their forehead.
Just
I
on
just
their
want to know
foreheads.
where it is on their forehead. Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Cool.
We had someone from Facebook, Sean Hall. He asked, "What kind of feed did you feed in Brazil? And if you fed hay, what kind of hay?"
Is it Sean Hall out of Logandale?
Good question. I have no
If it's the Sean we know. Hey, Sean.
We do grain all the horses.
You grain them?
Yeah.
What kind of grain? Like a grain or like a corn type stuff?
Grain.
Yeah.
Just like we.
Like a barley, wheat type stuff?
So, let's talk about my horses there.
Yeah.
We grain all of them, and they're, of course,
As a supplement, you grain
yeah,
them.
in the pasture most of the day, and then we lock them up in the stalls at night, and we put hay. There's the alfalfa and there's the grass hay. So it depends. It's we mix or we like our alfalfa is really really good, not as good as Utah alfalfa, but that's how we do because we have a lot of space and a lot of pasture. So they are in the pasture most of the day. That's how we do.
How would that be like?
That would be
Horses just-
awesome. That is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Can't imagine your feed bill compared to ours.
Feed stores look like with the grain, like with how our grain is in the feed stores. Is it pretty similar in
Yeah,
Brazil?
it's pretty similar. Mm-hmm.
Cubes down there? No cubes.
No cubes.
No
You
cubes.
should have seen when his dad came to the house. He's looking at the cubes because they cubed something. You said
Sugar cane.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
yeah, sugar
Yeah.
cubes.
They like that down there. The
Just to feeding lot, like cows and stuff.
oh wow.
My grandpa used to make them, but just that wasn't a good deal. And
Yeah, but yeah, his dad seeing the cubes was like, I didn't know if he thought it was a good idea or kind of like, oh, you guys are idiots. Why are you doing this? I like feeding cubes. I feed cubes, and I've switched back and forth, but I like cubes just, it's cleaner. I hate hay scattered around my place. If the wind ever blows, any hay gets scattered. And it's cleaner. It's a little more pain in the butt. It's a little more time consuming to feed cubes because of the shoveling and putting them in buckets versus just throwing it in the back of a four-wheeler or side-by-side and just throwing flakes over the fence to them. It's a little more time-consuming to do cubes, but I feel like my horses do better on cubes. I feel like they keep weight better. They don't go through it so fast. It takes them longer to eat. so they're not just gorging themselves. But I've had good luck. That's all ours get is cubes and BioMane. Occasionally we've got one if like Blu-ray, the mare that you mentioned has the same pedigree out of that stud. Giving her some total equine too. Just she's getting up in age. I feel like her top line isn't where I want it, so we supplement her with a feed like total equine just to help her keep her body mass in her top line. But she's the only one other than Tyke, our 40-year-old pony. I tell you, Tyke was 40 years old. Well, I shouldn't say 40 for sure.
Almost, we should say 35.
At least 35.
At least
We had
35.
Tyke. If you've seen Tyke, the BioMane pony that we've had forever, we had his teeth done. And the equine dentist said he's at least 35 years old. He's a freaking dinosaur of a horse. And he's still alive. Been blind in one eye for I don't know how long. He might be blind in the other. Okay, get the camera off me when you do that.
Oh.
All right.
Who is it?
Justin Juarez from YouTube.
Justin Juarez?
Yep. And he's getting
Grooming kit. Grooming kit. Justin, you're getting a grooming kit. DM us your info. Sorry, I'm rubbing the mic. You probably didn't hear that. DM us your shipping info. We'll send you a grooming kit.
And if you've won today, you can DM us on any of our social media, Facebook.
Yeah, anybody and everybody. If you've won, DM us all of your info, and we'll get it sent to you. Let's, I got a text from a friend saying, check your phone. The guys that I'm messaging on social media aren't replying. Let's do a Q&A about, I don't know, what should we do about horse care? Caring for your horse. I'm leaving it open. I don't know, grooming, feeding, whatever you want. What questions do you have about caring for your horse? Whether it's, like I said, grooming, feeding, showing, conditioning. What's something that you consistently find yourself doing on every horse?
Riding.
Yeah, riding.
There was a question
Let's
last
careful.
week that we didn't get to. That a person asked, "How do you get the mane to lay on one side?"
Good question. So what I typically do if I've got a mane that's split, sometimes they're split down the middle where the whole length of the mane, from the pole down to the withers is split. Like Fowden's got one, his yellow horse, thick mane.
Did.
Splits on both. But what I personally do is braid it to one side. I'll get it wet, and this is the one time that I'll braid it when it's wet instead of drying, because it's not when it's wet you got more weight. You got that water weight in there, and so I'll get it wet. Maybe I'll shampoo it, condition it. Shampoo it, rinse it out. Then I'll braid it, use the tape, and then put conditioner on it. And a lot of times, if it's long enough and it's got the length and the weight to lay on that side, a lot of times it'll stay on that side from then on. And I'll just keep braiding it on that side. I'll redo it every 3 or 4 days if I'm trying to, it's called taming it. If I'm trying to tame it to one side, I'll braid it and leave it for 3 or 4 days, then I'll rebraid it. A lot of times what'll happen, like even Snappy, our yellow mare, all the time will shake her head and one braid will flip over to the other side. It's not tamed to that side, but it still goes to that side. And I'd say that to prove the point that not always will it stay there without something also holding it. And so if it's winter and you can put like a heavier winter hood on them, do that. Braid it over to that side and then put a hood on them, because all that's going to do is just keep that from naturally, whether they roll or shake their head, or maybe it's a shorter mane and it naturally, even braided, wants to pull to that opposite side. But braid it and then put a hood, or what I like even more so than the hood because it fits more snug is those Lycra. It's spelled Lycra, the material. Lycra hoods. They're also called sleazies. But I'll use those, especially if I'm taming a mane. Do it when it's wet, so it naturally wants to stay to that side. Braid it, use the tape, condition it, and put a hood on them.
Are sleazies uncomfortable? Like, do you have to have a certain
Make sure they
size?
fit. Make sure they fit. When I've ordered Honestly, I think I've gotten any sleazy that I've gotten. I want to say I got off of Amazon. It's something that we've looked into coming out with ourselves, but it just we haven't, for no other reason other than just haven't taken the time to source them. But when you're ordering them, make sure and look at the measuring guides from the manufacturers or the seller of that hood. Look at their measuring guides, get the measurements on your horse to make sure you get that specific size. As long as they fit good, I feel like I haven't had any issues. Sometimes you get a horse that doesn't like anything on them. They'll rub and stuff, and it'll catch. And keep an eye on them. If you're turning them out on pasture, really keep an eye on them, because if they get rubbing on something, what'll happen is that hood shifts, gets over their one eye or both eyes, and they have a freak out, you're in trouble. From experience, that's happened in a stall. We didn't get in trouble, but went out the next morning to feed, and they had it half off, and it was covering half their face. Luckily, it was a pretty chill horse. His swirl must have been right in the front of his forehead.
So
But
you
wear those until it's tamed, and you'll know it's tamed. I would think you could have one tamed in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I would say a week, but that might be a little shy. You should be able to have one tamed in 2 weeks, and you'll know it's tamed when you take the braids out, brush it out, leave it out for a day or two. If it stays, you're done, in my opinion.
Don't roach it.
Don't go roaching manes.
What about the winter time now that it's freezing outside? What's your
For taming one,
best tips for taming and just general horse care?
keep them clean as much as you can. Keep them clean. We've got 2 horses on our place right now that with a rainstorm, some pens it was raining and the wind blowing sideways. It soaked the pens, and of course that's the night or the day that they decide to roll, and they're nasty, and we can't wash them. We can brush them and you can brush that out of them, but both horses are white and they just look terrible. But I'm not going to wash them. Luckily today, I think it's going to warm up enough that we could wash them and tie them next to, a metal shed that the sun's shining on to get some radiant heat and get them to dry out faster. Once you get the bulk of the water off, if they're still a little damp during the daylight, I'll throw a blanket on them to help them, stay warm while they're drying off. But the biggest thing is keep them clean. Keep their stalls clean. That's the best way to keep a horse clean, is keep their environment clean. Manes and tails, if it's too cold to use water, don't. Just strictly stay with using the detangler and the conditioner. What else for winter? What do you guys do in the winter?
What do you do in Brazil?
Try Brazil.
When it's
The winter's not.
70
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah. Here I just try to keep them clean as much as I can.
Someone did ask, this was another Brazil question, do you shoe your horses in Brazil?
Yes. Yes, we do. The same way all of us do here.
What do you look for in a good farrier?
Same thing we do here.
Yeah.
Try to keep our horse sound and going.
Do you shoe the mules? Or are
No.
they barefoot?
No, they're barefoot.
That's one
Some
question.
of some guys, like the good ones, they would.
Just to keep their feet
Yeah.
from cracking and
Mhm.
flaking off. But for the most part,
Yeah. My dad's farm, we don't.
keep
We
them
just
barefoot.
train them when it's like really neat. But
Where is it pretty rocky and some
yeah,
of that? Where
it's really.
they stay
my
pretty,
dad's place is really rocky.
they stay trimmed down
What
pretty
they do
good.
And
good.
that's another
Mm.
reason that why mules are better than
They're harder
horses.
footed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
One thing in the winter, I would say if a horse is going to get an abscess in any season more than another, it'd be winter, just because
Try to keep
ground's
our
not-
stalls
ground's not dry.
right.
If they're standing in wet stalls, which I'm guilty of it, but if they're standing in wet stalls, they're way more prone to thrush and abscesses. So again, keeping their environment clean and their ground clean, not just for grooming reasons, but for soundness reasons with their feet, is key.
We had another question from Croy. How do you stop a horse from rubbing its mane and rubbing her braids, even though they're not tight?
Some things to double check its pen that it's in. If there's, if you got panels or wire, whatever you got, if it's wire, I would highly suggest putting maybe some cleaner, cleaner and less booby trapped panels up than wire. Wire scares me, even if it's smooth wire, not barbed wire. But find out where they're rubbing. If you have to spend some time sitting there watching that horse until it rubs, watch it until it rubs. Find out where it's rubbing.
We had a horse that was
Rub all the time?
Yeah.
Us?
Yeah, Shiner.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Great. So, and he wasn't even rubbing his mane. What he'd do is he'd kind of rub his shoulder. He'd kind of rub like his neck. Let me get this. He wasn't even rubbing his mane. He was mainly rubbing like his shoulder and like up at his lower neck. And the stalls we've got are drill pipe and wood. And he'd go rubbing against that wood. And 2 different occasions he got big old slivers in his neck. He didn't rub the mane out, but what he'd do is he'd get big slivers in his neck that we had to pull out and doctor.
I think the last time he cut one of his men.
He did.
His
He
braids.
caught a braid
Yeah.
on some of the wood. That's right. And it wasn't like rubbing on the top of his neck, but he was rubbing down low and hooked the bottom of a braid. But so back to the question is find out where they're rubbing. If you can't tell, if they're never rubbing while you're there and you can't figure it out, make sure the panels in their pens, the gaps aren't wide enough that they can get their head through a panel, because maybe they're reaching through, trying to eat on the other side, or just rubbing to rub. One fix-all that's worked for me every single time, regardless of what their pens are, is I set up a hot wire fence inside. You know, it can be 3-4 inches inside of their other fence, and to where if they go to lean on that, it gives them a little shock or a pop, and they tend to want to stay off that fence. To me, you know, some people argue that's not humane. It's shocking them, but they only shock once they get popped once. They typically don't try to get popped again, so that'll keep them off the fence and from rubbing. You got any tips?
That's great. Well said.
Sit there with a hot shot. And they rub, you zap them. No, rubbing sucks, especially if you get one that you've put a lot of time and effort into. Sorry, I got my shoes showing at the
I
camera.
think I have a pretty good question for you two.
Let's hit for us too.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What was growing up in Idaho about roping and being a teenager?
Oh, I was going to say the first answer is easy. We're here in St. George for a reason.
Yeah, we're not in Idaho anymore.
Yeah.
I'll let you answer that.
Oh.
I'll correct you if you're wrong.
Yeah.
Don't talk crap on Idaho.
First of all, it's cookies, not donuts, when you're spinning around.
If you're in a car and you go into a parking lot and you got like say you can crank your front brake and you give her the onion and start spinning in circles, that is a cookie, not a donut.
I've got a work call I got to go do real quick.
Okay.
You answer and I'll be right back.
Okay. So, growing up in Idaho, team roping wise, I feel like, and I don't think it's fair to compare today's roping world versus back, how old am I? Back when, yeah, I'm about 64 going on 65, right? How long have we lived down here? I left Idaho in 2007. So, when I was 19. So, what's that? Hurry and do some math. 14, 15 years ago, right? So I don't think it's fair to compare. The roping industry as a whole has come leaps and bounds in the last 14, 15 years. But it was not as big as it is now. It's a lot different than where we're at now in St. George. I feel like St. George has probably always been this way. St. George is really cliquey. And by cliquey, I mean like not all guys are down to rope with each other at each other's places. You've seen that being down here. You could have a half-mile stretch of road, and there will be 6 arenas there.
Nobody ropes together.
Nobody ropes together. Why? I don't know. Anybody wants to rope, come over, you can rope. Like, we got cows. You don't have to pay to come rope.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, guys come over and rope one time. Like, hey, how much do I owe you for roping? Nothing. You came over to rope. Like, it's different if you want to keep horses here. You want to rope here every single day, and I'm not here, and you're using the cows and that's different. But if you just come over to rope, I invite you to come rope. But up in Idaho, it wasn't that way. We roped anywhere and everywhere, and everyone kind of roped together. Like guys would go in on steers together, guys would go in on an arena together. It was not, I don't want to say like talk bad on people down here that they're not as friendly, but it wasn't that way in Idaho. That being said, there's really nice horses up there. But I feel like the caliber of horses down here, there's more. I'm going to make a lot of Idaho people mad, but I feel like only because we're closer to Arizona,
Closer to Texas.
got a better climate.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more nicer horses. Up in Idaho, I felt like horses are a little more fewer and far between. There's a higher concentration of nicer horses down where we're at right now versus up there. And so that's how I would compare it. I don't feel like, and not bad mouthing Idaho by any means. I love it, and I'd love that a guy can own 10, 30, 50, 100 acres up there for the same price that a guy can own 3 acres down here. You know what I mean? I like that aspect of it.
I asked that because it's funny how things change from state, from like you go to Idaho is a whole different deal.
Oh, yeah.
In Utah and Colorado or Texas, you know.
Yeah.
And in Brazil, it's kind of about the same, you know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Even going from state to state in Brazil?
Yeah, it changed like not as much as here,
Yeah.
you know, but it's my first year living here. I had a friend from Idaho, so I was there most of the time,
Cool.
and it was a pretty good experience.
Yeah. You got any more questions, or we can wrap up? Let's wrap up. Appreciate you being here, dude. I think we'll have you here on more. What I'd like to do, because we've talked about Junior quite a bit, what I think would be fun is to get, if we can get Junior here, we go see Junior, or we even get him on a conference call or something.
Mm-hmm.
Junior speaks great English, too. It'd be fun, too, if we get a Portuguese following and do a whole segment of just you and him
Oh yeah,
shooting the crap in Portuguese. Me and Lad will just
making
sit here.
fun of Lad.
Yeah.
Did you rag on Idaho pretty good?
No,
Oh, good.
I tried not to.
Sorry.
What I said about Idaho was I feel like there's a higher concentration of nicer horses down here than there was in Idaho. And not for any reason other than it's a better climate. We're down closer to, Arizona and that.
Yeah.
It's more expensive down here to keep horses and run cows.
We left the same time. I can't. It's crazy how much things have changed.
about the same.
Things have changed so
within
much
a
up
year.
there.
Okay, giveaway winner. And then we're wrapping up. I'm letting you announce it. This nut
gotcha.
on the back looked like it was loose. I didn't want it to come off.
Let's do Ty Berry for our last.
Ty Berry.
Do you know this one?
No, I know Halle Berry.
I don't
Not
think they're
personally.
related.
Not personally. Ready? We'll let him choose. Ty, do you want conditioner or shampoo? Because it's stuck in between. Or do we want to choose for him?
We'll let him pick.
We'll let him pick.
Send us
Ty's a
DM.
guy, right?
Don't know.
I sure hope so. I don't want to be in a hot spot right now.
Well, Ty Berry.
It chose for him.
pick a pig.
Ty, you're getting conditioner. It's a 2-pack. Sorry. Should have picked sooner. It picked for you. You're getting a 2-pack of conditioner. Thanks for joining in, guys. Had a lot of great comments. Had a great guest. Had a great co-host. Had a great team behind us. And again, we'll be here next Wednesday, same time, same deal. Thanks for joining the BioMane Scoop.